Peter is back in Anna's head, and Valentin may be in terrible danger. Oh, darlings, pull up close, because this first story is one that is going to send chills straight down your spine. Because the threat coming for Valentin is not hiding in a parking garage or waiting on a pier with a weapon. It is living inside the mind of the woman who may care about him more than anyone else in Port Charles. And that right there makes it infinitely more dangerous than anything Ross ever cooked up. Anna came home, and for just a few beautiful, fragile minutes, it almost looked peaceful. The people she loves most were waiting for her. The apartment was warm. There was laughter and catching up and the kind of ordinary joy that feels extraordinary after everything she has been through. Emma had even made her a new mug to replace the one that got broken while she was away, and honestly, that small gesture said more about how much this family missed her than any words could. But Anna needed to be alone almost immediately. She sent the younger ones off to the pool. She asked Mac and Felicia to go check on James, who had questions that needed answering. All of it was reasonable. All of it made perfect sense. And all of it left Anna standing alone in that apartment with nothing between her and the thing she has been fighting so hard to hide. Dante arrived. He sat across from Anna and delivered the news about what happened. Cassius gone. Ross gone. The nightmare officially over. And Anna did what Anna does. She took it in, processed it, blamed herself for being deceived, for missing the signs, for not catching it sooner. Dante was gentle with her. He reminded her that everyone wanted to believe Nathan had somehow come back, that the desire to have that be true made all of them vulnerable. And then Dante left, and the apartment went quiet, and Peter appeared, not physically, not as flesh and blood walking through a door, but right there, inside the part of Anna that already feels the most guilt, the most betrayal, the most raw and undefended grief. And he was smiling. That particular smile that has always meant something terrible was coming. "It's good to be home," he told her. "Now you can finally get your revenge." That is the moment everything shifted. Because Peter alive was dangerous in the way all physical threats are dangerous. He could be seen, tracked, stopped. But Peter living inside Anna's mind, speaking directly into her worst impulses and her deepest wounds, that version of Peter has no body to contain him, no door to lock, no way to physically remove him from the situation. And the person he may be pushing Anna toward is Valentin. Summer spoilers are pointing towards something that is almost unbearable to consider. Anna carrying a lethal plan. Anna being pushed by these visions towards someone she loves. Because Peter has an angle for everything, he can whisper that Valentin is lying about Faison still being dead. He can insist that Valentin cannot be trusted. He can take every loving, caring thing Valentin tries to do for Anna and reframe it as manipulation. Valentin and Anna are going to have a beautiful reconnection. He is going to explain everything. He is going to try to give her the clarity and the grounding that someone who has known her since before she was who she became can uniquely provide. And Anna, the real Anna, the rational Anna, the woman who genuinely loves this man, is going to feel all of that. But Peter is going to be in the room, whispering, insisting, pushing. Charlotte is thrilled her father is home. She has no idea what might be building just around the corner. And Carly, who is falling deeper in love with Valentin every day, has no idea that the woman who just came home to Port Charles might be the most complicated threat to her future that anyone could have predicted. Sunny confronts Valentin, and Carly holds her ground beautifully. Now, darlings, let's talk about what happened when Carly and Valentin were standing there, finally together, finally in the open, finally allowing themselves to imagine what their future looks like without hiding, and Sunny walked in. Because of course he did. Carly and Valentin were genuinely happy, talking about a future, letting themselves dream out loud about what life looks like now that the danger has passed, and the secrets do not need to be kept anymore. And Sunny, who saw that kiss outside the hospital and has been stewing over it ever since, came loaded with everything he planned to say. He came at Valentin with something specific, something real, something painful, something that he clearly hoped would land hard enough to make Carly step back. He brought up the medication situation, the way Valentin once helped Ava tamper with his bipolar medication in a way that contributed to a genuine breakdown. And watching that information land on Carly's face, watching her absorb it, that moment had real weight. But here is what Sunny did not anticipate. Carly is not someone who falls apart when the past of someone she loves gets laid in front of her. She is someone who asks questions and then makes up her own mind. And she had questions, but she also had answers that Sunny did not know she had. She told him about how she and Valentin actually came together. Not as some impulsive romantic decision, but as an alliance that started because she needed help going after the person who tricked Jocelyn into the WSB. That Valentin was the person who ultimately put himself on the line to protect Jocelyn. That he walked into danger willingly and without hesitation to keep her daughter safe. Sunny did not know that. And watching that information hit him, watching him absorb the fact that the man he came in here to tear down is the man who saved his daughter, was genuinely satisfying. He kept pushing. He brought up the enemies Valentin carries. The danger that follows him. The ways Carly's life could be complicated or threatened by the people who have it out for Valentin. He told her about Ross being the one behind the attack in Los Angeles and the explosion that nearly killed Michael, as if proximity to that violence was somehow Valentin's fault rather than the fault of the man who orchestrated it. Carly listened to all of it. And then she told Sunny, with complete composure and complete certainty, that nothing he had said changed anything. That Valentin was a different person when those things happened. That she was staying. Sunny shook his head, told her he hoped it worked out, and walked out. After he left, Valentin asked Carly quietly if she was truly comfortable, if all of that had shaken anything loose for her. And she told him no. Told him that nothing could come between them. Meant every word. What she did not know in that moment, what neither of them knew, was that Anna had already arrived back in Port Charles. And the most complicated chapter of their love story may not involve Sunny at all. Lucas wakes up on Liz's couch, and Port Charles keeps moving in every direction. And now, darlings, let us do a full sweep of everything else happening across Port Charles this week, because this city never lets just one storyline carry all the weight. There is so much moving simultaneously, and every single thread is building towards something that is going to matter enormously. Let us start with Lucas, because this man had the kind of night that ends with you waking up on someone else's couch with a headache and a whole lot of regret. He showed up at Elizabeth's door in no condition to be anywhere, and he interrupted what was apparently a rather lovely evening she was having with Rick. Elizabeth, being exactly the warm, steady, genuinely kind person she has always been at her core, did not turn him away. She let him sleep it off. She was there when he woke up. And Lucas, sitting there feeling embarrassed and grateful and still raw from everything he has been processing, told her the truth. About Britt not actually having the illness she believed she had. About Marco, his Marco, the man he loved, dying over vials of saline that were never what anyone thought they were. Said out loud and clearly, the weight of it is almost impossible to carry. Elizabeth listened. She held space for it. And Lucas, for perhaps the first time since learning the truth, did not have to carry it completely alone. Meanwhile, across town, Martin has returned. And his arrival could not have been better timed for several people who desperately need someone with his particular skills. He ran into Laura at the Metro Court Gardens, and the reunion was warm but quickly practical, because Laura always has something that needs doing. She told him about a friend in a complicated legal situation, and Martin, feeling guilty for having been away during everything Sidwell put this city through, was immediately ready to help. That help landed at Curtis and Jordan's door. Because Curtis is navigating something that requires very careful legal thinking. He and Jordan have been going back and forth over whether to accept a plea deal, 2 years, structured, known, or take his chances in court on a case that has gotten considerably messy with new information about Willow coming to light. Curtis rejected the plea. He is going to fight it. And Martin arriving with a second opinion right at that moment is exactly the kind of development that could change the shape of this case entirely. Justine, meanwhile, offered Molly something extraordinary, the chance to prosecute Sidwell. A case of that magnitude would be career-defining. It would establish Molly in a way that nothing else currently on her path could. But it means canceling the book tour. Setting aside the personal dream she has worked toward. choosing the law over everything else she had planned for this stretch of her life. Molly asked for 24 hours to decide. And in that conversation, she mentioned something almost in passing, that Sunny rushing to save Justine during the hostage situation had inadvertently created a conflict of interest. Justine took that in, processed it, and by the time she and Sunny were alone together later, the math had already done its quiet, inevitable work inside her. Down at the pool, Trina was trying to focus on music, working on a set list for an upcoming showcase with Kai, when the world kept interrupting. Portia and Isaiah showed up. Awkward small talk happened. Trina set a boundary, Portia respected it, and Trina noticed that for a moment. Kai told her to stay out of it and let things unfold. And then Gio and Emma arrived with the news that Anna was home, which sent a warm ripple through everyone who loves her. What nobody at that pool knew was that Anna, alone in her apartment just a little while earlier, had already received a visitor that nobody else could see. And that visitor had already started whispering about revenge. Port Charles is a city at a crossroads right now, darlings. Anna home, but not healed. Valentin happy, but standing closer to danger than he realizes. Lucas grieving in a way that does not have easy edges. Curtis choosing to fight. Molly standing at the biggest fork in her career. And somewhere in Sunny's world, a breakup arriving from a direction he never anticipated. Every single thread is alive. Every single character is carrying something real. And every single day in the city is moving towards something that is going to change the landscape in ways none of them can fully see yet.